sorry. I am so sorry. You were supposed to see. She reminds me to hit the audio. I told you that.
Now you got scrolled over.
I know. Okay, let's start with GA. MML, we had a lot of great information from the MML. Myself and Tony Washington went. It was 4 days. Next year, we would like to. I would like to see more council members go if that could be arranged, even part or all of the time. On October 30th, there is a fall conservation training series put on through MDC. They're going to be talking about mobilizing volunteers, assessing tree health, understanding the difference between traditional woodland management and urban management, and also assessing trees after a natural disaster. So if you would like to, if council members would like to sign up for that, I'm going to send out an email, and that is going to be October the 30th. What day is that? I don't know what day that is.
The 30th?
The 30th is on a
That's
Thursday.
but
Yeah.
Halloween is on
It's going to be on a Thursday from October 30th from 8:30 to 1:30. So if you guys would like to sign up for that, if you are a person of the public that has leaves, you can bag up to 12 leaves per household per week that will be picked up by Waste Management. We do not have the towing capacity for the leaf bag, so that will be discontinued for all those reasons. And we also don't have the manpower. So please bag your leaves, put them on the curb. Do not put them into the storm breaks because that will clog the sewers. So bag them and put them on the curb, and Waste Management will pick them up. If you would like to volunteer for Trunk or Treat, council members, anybody from the community, they need money, they need candy for the Trunk or Treat volunteers. They also need people to decorate their trunks. Volunteers should plan to arrive at 4 o'clock to 5:50. Decorate your trunk before 4:45. The party starts at 6 and it goes until 8 o'clock. It is going to be at Normandy Early Childhood Center, October 25th, which is 7853 Natural Bridge Road, Normandy, Missouri 63121. So it was very, very fun last year and everything. It was a great time. Please come out. We had a lot of people from different communities that came out, so it was really great and fun. And we also had a DJ. We had music. There is a Sunshine Law Basics training through the MML that's happening. You can sign up for council members. It's October 23rd. They just sent out an email, so if you would like to sign up for Sunshine Law Basics, and if you haven't done it before, even if you're getting a refresher, that's good information. St. Louis County is having its 2050 implementation orientation tomorrow at 6 p.m. I'm planning on attending. They just sent me an invitation. So I'm planning on attending. We also have the code enforcement meeting tomorrow, so I'm going to go to that, and then Savannah will go to the code enforcement meeting. On November 1st, this is very exciting. We are having our first shred day, and we are also going to have a bulk day that Waste Management is going to put on through the city. The shredding is going to be Saturday, November 1st from 9 to noon. You cannot bring bound paper, magazines, anything with staples, no CDs, no books, no photos, paper only.
No cardboard.
No cardboard, paper only for shredding. It's going to be at City Hall on the parking lot. We'll have signs up, and then some public works people. And
What time is that?
the shredding starts at 9 and it goes to noon.
What date again?
Saturday, November
Okay.
1st. And then we also will have the dumpsters. We will have 2 40-yard dumpsters for dumping. So you cannot bring automobile parts, tires, batteries, no propane tanks, no tree stubs, no glass panes or mirrors, no construction materials such as concrete, rocks, bricks, and demolition materials, no liquids, oil, gas, propane, home chemical materials, no large appliances, small appliances, and tools that run on gas, propane, or freon.
No paint.
And no paint. Yeah, people like to do that.
Is that also November 1st?
That is also gonna be on the first, and we're gonna have 2 dumpsters that are gonna be set up over behind, in front of the Prairie. And then the shredding will be,
It will be here throughout the weekend, so
Yeah.
it's not just the first, so it's
the whole weekend. So the dumpster is gonna come on Friday, and it's gonna get picked up on Monday.
Gotcha.
The shredding will only be from 9 to 12.
Yes.
And so,
But the bulk's all weekend.
but the bulk will be, the drop off will be Friday and the pickup will be on Monday. And then on Saturday, we will have it made.
November 1st.
Yeah.
So someone asked me, can they bring their mattresses in Box Spring?
That is not on here.
I think so.
I think
They
that's,
can't? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
let's get a clear, I'll email them and ask them. Mattresses in Box Spring, is that it?
Yes.
Any
Furniture?
appliances, anything like that?
No appliances. No large appliances, no small appliances, no tools, and nothing that runs on gas, propane, and freon.
Furnitures are allowed, so, I mean, I would assume that mattresses are also allowed, like this, so.
So I know on regular pickup, they have to be covered in that plastic.
Not when it's going in the dumpster.
I
No,
don't
no,
know.
it's supposed to go in the dumpster, so
Yeah,
you
if
just
it's
throw
going
it
in
in.
the dumpster, you're putting it in, I don't know, but I'll get confirmation on it,
Yeah.
let you know, yeah. Because we do have some in the,
You have some here?
We-
I did have somebody call.
we asked for, remember we asked for them like when they were doing home, yeah, so I think we still have some left.
Okay.
Oh, at the recommendation of, Councilwoman Valle, I asked Mr. James if he was interested in being our Ward 3 representative, and he graciously said yes. So at the next meeting, I would like to recommend him for, Councilwoman Shivers', open council seat. So that will be on the agenda for October 23rd. Yeah, for our October workshop.
It'll be the 25th. It'll be the, you wanna be the 30th?
No, it's the 4th Tuesday, or the 4th Thursday.
I think
The
that's-
23rd, yeah. The 30th is the,
Okay,
yeah, this month has.
sorry,
it's the
like 7th, okay.
23rd at 5:30, yeah. 2 weeks. And that is all that I have.
One more thing, Mayor.
Wait,
Hold on.
no, wait, we gotta go down the road.
I've got a couple things. First and foremost, I just wanted to send kudos to the RBI banquet we had Sunday. We had 3 teams. The girls' team we have this year for the first time, they won the championship. We went into the tournament, our 15U won an 18U. They didn't win it, but they qualified for the championship game, which we played at Busch Stadium. We did not win that game, but I can tell you as a coach, with Coach Tony and our other 2 coaches, we were extremely proud of them for even getting there. No one expected us to get there, being we got a couple 14-year-olds on that 15-year-old team, and we beat 3 18-year-old teams to get there. So I had to give some props. I had to. The historic preservation, we had our person here September 22nd, 23rd. We had a great tour. Lasted about 3 hours. She was very impressed with what she's seen. She lives in Florida, but she's doing some work for us. She's our contractor. So Jenny Wolf, she'll have another trip back. I'm not sure when exactly, but she's very excited to work with us and get our historic preservation laid out and ready to go. So that could be something I talked to that gentleman about afterwards. So the other thing is, I wanted to give, we had a parking issue in Ward 1, And these folks that were renters apparently felt like they could pull their car all the way up to their porch. And the PD went down and just spoke to them, and it was not an issue anymore after that discussion. No tickets, they just went down and informed them that wasn't the right thing to do. So I wanted to say thank you to the PD. One last thing. I happened to see it today by pure accident. And then I talked to Marty a little bit more about it. On the corner of Bermuda and Woodstock, we have a welcome to Normandy sign. The first one has just been refurbished. It looks terrific. It's probably 25 years old, and they redid them, repainted them. So it's right down the street from Mr. White. If you get a chance, going down there, there's a couple more coming in, but that one's been there since I've been here for 40 years. So it looks great. It gives a very nice appearance for Normandy. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't have anything. Was I supposed to talk about that? Did you talk about I'm not prepared.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Councilman Washington.
Okay, like Stacy stated the other day, with the King Corsos running loose, I got chased by them. They ended up in my backyard, okay? So I don't know what the ordinance are regarding vicious animals like pit bulls and King Corsos. So we need to find out who owns those animals and make sure they get rid of them, because those things are vicious, very vicious. So, I don't know if we need to update the ordinance or do something, man, because those dogs shouldn't be in our neighborhood, should be in our city. The old Sinclair gas station, I don't know, what are we doing with that? Because I
I
had,
think we're selling it, right?
oh, the old Sinclair gas station, what is our purpose, what are we doing with that? Because I had a constituent ask me, could they use it for community events or some kind of learning center or something, so I know maybe we need to do something with that, just sitting there and not doing anything.
That is actually being used for police storage.
Yeah,
And
police
other
storage.
And that's not really, it's not a place that
Right.
you would have something like that.
It still looks
So,
like the St.
we
Clair
just had a-
years ago.
Isn't that on the inside?
Everything's still in there.
Okay,
So that,
Nothing's been moved.
nothing's been moved.
so it looks like the Sinclair gas station.
Yes.
Except for the dinosaur.
Just
Yeah.
like-
Yeah, no,
The dinosaur's gone,
Yeah.
right?
At least they got rid of that, you know, but we need to try to do something with it.
It was in the
Just-
facilities assessment that we had
Yeah.
done. The house behind it is slated for
Demolition.
demolition. So we were trying to figure out, it's not on the list, it's one of our assets.
Yeah, we went through two of
So
them, yeah.
together,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. Also, that land at Natural Bridge in Lucas and Hunt, it has a sign saying rental retail properties coming soon. And it's been sitting there for about, I don't know, a long time. I'm just wondering when, is something gonna be done, built there? or-
That is privately owned, and we met with them like maybe 3-4 years ago to talk about what we would like to see there, but, I don't know if Josh, who's the guy's in charge of it, actually still works for that real estate company, because we called him a few times after that, and he never got back to us. So I'm not sure if he still works there, but it is a private owned property.
Okay, well, we need to, hopefully we can do something with that land. It's just sitting there too. That used to be a bar a long time ago in that corner. But now we definitely need to make some kind of use out of that land.
Yeah, it used to be Schulte Hardware and.
And the bar on the corner.
They close.
Yeah.
Also, I just want to bring back up again the stripe on Bishop Johnson Lane. We need to definitely get the stripe down the center of that street. Also, we still missing the sign of Skyview and Horizon. And also, I want to bring up the Jazz Festival. It was a great success this year. We had a great turnout. The weather was perfect. Yolanda brought the great weather, so it was
That was I was in charge.
it was a great event. Had great community support. Each year it's getting better and better. So congrats to the Parks Board and all the people who participated, and our sponsors. We had a couple of sponsors this year as well. Like the mayor stated, we had trunk or treat this on October 25th. In January, we're having a family event at Jump City, a City Jump, what is it, City Jump?
City Jump.
City Jump, a family event on, at City Jump.
What's the date, Tony?
We haven't got the date yet.
Okay.
We're still trying to set it up. I'm just letting everybody be aware
Did you say January?
in January. Right. Also, we're having the Easter event with donuts with the Easter Bunny around Easter time. Also, this year we're having a Juneteenth event also. And I think that's it.
Can you talk about the sign?
I'm done.
Where is the sign that you said is? Is it
Horizon,
right where you-
When somebody took it down already, that sign was up 2 weeks ago.
was it? Horizon and Skyview? Okay, I'll take a look.
Let's check and see.
All right.
Yeah, let's
Thanks,
check
Marty.
it, let's check and see on that.
And we're working on the stripes, by the way, too, so we're trying to get some, either another city who could help us out with just striping those, or even the county itself, because it's pretty a short distance, not long, so, we're trying to figure that out, but we're working on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thanks.
Councilwoman Evans.
Oh, okay. Well, what I wanna, talk about is, me and the Public Works Director, Marty, we had a meeting with Cardinals Care today. And they're drawing up a contract where they're gonna come in and rehab the entire field. New scoreboard, new fencing, they're gonna grade the field, and what else? Yeah, well, Marty can talk about it a little bit more. And, we had a few more things in there, so it doesn't hurt to put a little bit more a few more things in there to see if it gets done. So we're gonna, try to get as much as done as we can. And after the initial rehabilitation of the field, Cardinals Care is gonna do the upkeep on the field for an entire year. The only thing we would have to do is cut the grass. But after that, the city will be responsible.
That's at
So-
Hosea? Hosea?
Yes, Hosea, the big field down there. So it's been an entire refresh.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and they're also gonna redo the monument too. They're gonna refresh that too. Yeah, yeah. So anything to do with Red Shangy's field, they're gonna refresh it. But we're still in preliminary talk, so there's a few more things that me and Marty talked about that we're gonna try to slip in there and see if we can get that done too. So that's, and also, in Ward 2, Project Clear is coming around, cleaning out the drains. It gets back to you when you were saying that the leaves,
Don't put the least.
yeah, don't put the leaves in
Yeah.
the drain. I went out and talked to the guys this morning, they said there was so many leaves in the drains. So they were blowing them out, washing them out, and he was like, well, you know, if you can, tell people don't put leaves in the drain. You know, so they would,
In the sewers?
yeah.
Yeah, people will
Yeah, they will
break
rake their
them
leaves,
into the
yeah.
sewer. Yeah.
And he said it was so jam-packed down and that they had to go down there with the water, cannons and blow it up, blow it loose. So they was out there from like 6 o'clock to probably 5:30 cleaning the drains out. So, don't put your leaves in the drain.
So when you say Project Clear, you're talking about MSD,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. So, Project Clear, those are the ones that come out and put the drains out, you know. And they also gonna replace a few of the grates in the area too. So they said they're looking for damaged grates and stuff like that, and they're gonna replace them. So, that's all I have.
Thank you. Councilwoman McBride?
I don't have a lot. Part of my absence on Tuesday and Thursday last, dealing with some health issues, but getting through it. My organization did do a thing in the city on the 4th of October of this month. Had a massive giveaway of a lot of essential supplies and furniture and clothing and shoes and free food and music and a lot of support for the tornado victims in St. Louis City and St. Louis County. And we've also been awarded a grant from Missouri Housing Development Corporation Commission for disaster relief for tornado victims. So starting next week, we will be able to help people with rent, utilities, food, hotel, motel stays, but they must be victims of one of the disasters, the most recent disasters. And at the forefront, of course, the May 16 tornado. So if you all know anyone, if anyone has had any issues, you got rent issues, you got mortgage issues, you can reach out to me. My organization will be processing applications, and I can refer you to the other organizations that are doing the same. So we can't duplicate services. So if you got FEMA assistance for like mortgage, we can't do your mortgage. But if you need utility assistance or food, we can help with things like that. If anyone is still without electricity, gas, water, we can pay those bills. So just reach out and let me know. And what we can't do at wherever we are, we can certainly refer you to one of the other organizations that can. We're also able to do some home repair, like help buy wood and tarp and whatever. We can purchase appliances if you're moving into a new space. So it's a little bit of a process, but this program is new to MHDC, so it's new to us as well. So we're working with them to help get the kinks out. But it's for city and county residents. It's not just confined to the city. So my office is in the city, but my work is in both places. So whatever assistance we can provide, please reach out and let me know so that we can get it done. And that's all I got.
Thank you.
So I just wanted to speak real shortly on a new, it's called a literacy lab at Normandy Middle. It's through Project Believer, and the goal of the lab is to get all students competent and proficient in reading by the 3rd grade. And the great thing about this literacy lab, it provides literature, books, art that are culturally diverse, right? Because one thing when it comes to reading, I think when we see representation, we're more engaged in the literature. So just wanted to call it out. That opened up last month, and again, it's at Normandy Middle. It's the literacy lab.
Do you sign up for it, like on the website? Like families do?
So I don't know if it's just for the students or if it's available to everyone. But there's a website, www. I think it's believersproject.com.
Councilwoman Beret.
Yeah.
Oh, Councilwoman Valle, sorry.
Yeah, a few things. I've been working on, with the code enforcement, I guess, or the code committee, I think it's called. My perspective has been on process. What happens when, because what I want to do is to let the public, the residents, know about what they should be looking at on their own homes. You know, give them a checklist of check this, 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 the same way that if they were going out and looking at their own homes as a code inspector. What's the inspector going to be looking for? What is the process that code enforcement uses when they visit your house? If there's a complaint, what do they do? How that process flows? How long it takes? And what are the step-by-step process, so people can have a better understanding of what the city does, how they go about doing it. So I've been working on that. I drafted part of it to some of the council members. I haven't had any feedback on that yet. We still have concerns about the park and the historic Glen Echo. That park was constructed at the cost of about, let's see, it was about $395,000. because it's an engineering project. All of the water from Natural Bridge, even from the other side of Natural Bridge, if you're looking at places like Augusta, where there's hills, that water runs down onto Natural Bridge, goes into the sewers, the storm water sewer drains, comes down through Normandy Place, down St. Mary's Lane. All of that area back there in the Fourth Ward is below grade. So all of that water comes through. The village of Glen Echo Park used to have a little concrete culvert in the middle there that was insufficient. The water, when it comes down there, it really goes fast. And so we worked with MSD and the designers to slow that water down. So it's really an important project from the perspective of conservation and stormwater management. That's why we were able to get the kind of money that we were doing for that little bitty project. It looks little, it's a complex one. So keeping that rock bed clean, keeping all of the vegetation intact and clean is very, very important, not just for the aesthetics of it, but for the functionality of that. When we get money from the St. Louis County Parks Commission through a grant, and they gave us $385, we had to throw in about $20,000 of our own. You have to make a commitment of dollars of how much you're going to spend to maintain whatever you've done. And so I saw that last year I asked that the budget include some specific funding for the little park, the tinier parks. That money was put in the budget. I think the total that was put in the budget at that point was about $10,000, specifically for the smaller parks. I don't believe that kind of money has been spent in our park, and we really need to clean it up. It's not only aesthetically pleasing for people, our people walk through there, not only people in those two streets, but people in that part of the Fourth Ward. Go there, they sit there, they have conversations, I've got pictures of folks sitting there and just walking or on a little exercise path, but they're not likely to do that in its current state. So I really want to get some focus back on that. So I am working on like I said, the code committee. There are some people who want to have a focus on what the actual nuisance codes look like, what they contain, whether you can have a barbecue pit on the front of your house or not, those kinds of concerns, and those are important concerns. However, if we cannot focus on how and when things get done, the content of the nuisance ordinance really doesn't make a whole lot of difference, because if it's not happening, it's not happening, whether it's one way or the other. And that's all I've got.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry, one more thing. I did talk to Mr. Galati about the house at 7203. It's always been the intention to save as many of those historic properties as possible. We got to the point where at least one of them is unsalvageable, but we do know that both of the properties that are slated for demolition were sold to some people, or they picked up the tax liens from the county in the August tax sale. So I don't know if that complicates anything for us, but we do have one of the people who has come forward and said that they've got the intention and the resources to do the rehab. It's a tricky position for us to be in, because we have a lot of complaints about the safety of those houses. But I'm hoping that working with Mr. Galati to work with Public Works and our city administrator and our attorney to find out what might be possible for that one house that he wants to save.
Thank you. Just a reminder, piggybacking off what you said, the Code Enforcement Subcommittee is meeting tomorrow at 5:30. 5:30, if any citizens want to come, it's here. We will be talking about Chapter 2. They will be.
Right.
talking about chapter 220 and the code. And the idea is to get some input from citizens. So Councilwoman Cleveland is that, it's all, we have one citizen from each ward?
One citizen for each.
One citizen from each ward is on the board to give their input. So if you would like to come, I know we're trying to figure out this dog situation, so if you would like to come and give your input, that would be great. If it is a council person, other than Cleveland and Valle, clearly they are not voters, just so people know. It is for the citizens to give their input and to see. We want your input, we want input from your point of view on what to do with the code and everything, and to go forth from there. So, one thing at a time. Where we at
This is my
now?
report.
City administrator.
All right, so I did meet with the auditor, talking about the last audit we just did, which is for fiscal year of 2024. You know, there was really no material finding that they had, and I recommended, and they will be coming here during our workshop to do a presentation on the audit itself. We did discuss generally how we've addressed some of the operational issues that he had brought up on the report. And so we are working towards it, that they're actually really happy with the current budget that we had just passed in terms of you know, the hirings and the increase in salaries for some of our employees. They did acknowledge that that was kind of important and required. So we're looking forward to that. So they will be here next week, next meeting, to do that report. All right. And also we do have to discuss whether we want to renew their contract, because their 3-year contract is up. And so we can either renew another 3 years with them, or we can go out to bid and, you know, see what's out there. But also too, we just have to think about time constraints and other issues in order before we do that. So I'll be coming back to the board with that on a later date. Communications, just like the young lady who just spoke earlier, referred to the fact that she would like a software that can be able to communicate from the city to the residents. Myself and Councilman Tony on Washington had met with a young man at the MML convention who was running a startup company called Rasonos, and I did have a conversation with him. Great company, but it did not seem to fit what we're looking for, particularly because it uses more of AI, and so once you load the city's codes into the system, basically you would be talking to a bot. Basically, if you ask a question like, when is the trash pickup? It will go through the codes and through the operational manual and give you the answer. All right, so that's how this works. It also does have an app, and one thing I did find out after talking to all the other vendors was a lot of these are app-based, but they do also do text messages. But it will give you a limited amount of text messages you can send in a particular year. And if you wanted more than that, you have to pay for it. So it's all based on the fact that you're downloading an app and having the ability to communicate with the city through that app. That is how they all work. The other company I did talk to was GoGov, and they seem to be a little bit more established. They're actually well known, a lot more users. They've been in the industry for years, and theirs was very simple and basic. They also do an app whereby you do have that communication, and they also gave us a quote, and I seem to be leaning towards GoGov because theirs is simple, less work for the city staff. It's just, I mean, you could actually do the exact same thing, just that it's not AI focused. It's generally more a communication tool for the city to give to the residents. So you have the ability to type out any messages you want, any kind of events, you send it to the residents. You can also do whereby if you want a particular street, people who live on a particular street, you can send it to them directly. So I'm working towards getting a recommendation to the council on one of these softwares that would work for us, and so we can be able to solve this issue of communication. All right. The last thing is just want to kind of announce that obviously we're currently have 2 job openings for the administrative assistant. We're currently looking. I will start interviews next week. We've already had it out for 2 weeks. So if you know anybody who's interested in the position, who's capable, we're looking for somebody who is versatile, definitely please recommend them to apply. We'll be doing interviews starting next week. We also have for the code enforcement also, the code enforcement / inspector position too. That's also being, it's also open at the moment. So we're looking for somebody if you have any recommendation. The church, Bethesda, I think that's how you say it? Bethesda, okay. Has asked if we can make a recommendation of 5 families that they would like to assist during this festive season, who need assistance. And they'll be assisting with food, energy assistance, and other items also. So if you have recommendations, I think myself and the mayor have talked about maybe one from each ward, and then just any other individual that you thought that might need it. So if you have somebody in mind that you want to put on that list, please let us know. Also, they would like to do a turkey giveaway during this turkey Thanksgiving. They haven't given us a date yet. We've agreed that they could use the parking lot. It's going to be a drive-through. They're talking about 100 turkeys. So it's first come, first serve. It's going to run through real fast. It's going to be a weekend. They're going to pick and just let us know. All right.
What about the communication as far as letting other people know about voting someone for the
Giveaway.
yeah, the giveaway. What I was looking
The turkey?
No, the
Family?
Yeah, the family
Family,
giveaway.
yeah.
Communicating about, what do you mean?
To our residents, like, hey, if you know somebody in need, like, cause we're only so,
Well, I would rather they tell you, and then you, I mean, because if we did it one per ward, you would be like, oh, I know that house, you know, whatever, like, and everything, instead of everybody bombarding them.
But like, how do we know people are in need? You know?
I mean, usually, you would know your ward. That's why I said, like,
Not really.
you know.
Our ward is too big to know that.
Who's ward?
Ward 1 is too big.
Oh,
I can tell you people on my street.
I mean, you can
Behind
pretty
me.
much look and see if people are in need.
Well, that's not true. But some people just look like they're in need, but they really don't want to.
Well, if you have a recommendation, like, let us know. If you want to get one from somebody, then, you know, if you trust what they say and everything, you can let us know. But I would also say, sometimes people are really touchy about taking help.
Yeah.
So if somebody gives you a name and you don't know a name and you're not, I would definitely go and knock on that door and say, like, would you like assistance? Because some people are like, no, I don't want it. And that's just how it is, you know?
Yeah, I wish we did have a figure on that, big communication that people would say, hey, we're giving out Bethesda's giving out turkeys, or we're looking for someone, just a family who may be in need each ward. Because Bethesda their church did it last year, and it was absolutely amazing. It was quick, fast, they put the stuff in your car and you go. But, so they're gonna do it here on that parking lot
Yes.
this year? That is awesome.
Yeah. They love the location, it's centralized, so they love this.
Yeah.
And you come through and come out, you know.
Yeah, so the 5 families, is that for Christmas?
Yes.
Yeah, the 5 families is for Christmas, the turkey is for Thanksgiving.
But the turkeys, with food giveaway.
That's the drive.
You know, the first come, first serve.
First come,
Yeah.
first serve.
So one family, we're trying to do one family per ward.
Yeah.
Okay.
One family per ward.
I want to yield a little bit of my time to Captain Sanders, the chief. The captain.
Depending on where I am, I'm promoted, I'm demoted, it doesn't matter. Okay, thank you. So I apologize for the police department report. Do I have a report time? Is it my turn yet?
Yeah.
I'm making sure I just have nothing over.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry I was out of the office last week, so the police department statistics are as stands. Everybody should have the police department report right now. You guys got something a little bit different today. You guys got this kind of colorful worksheet. I don't know if you recall. We signed a resolution, you guys approved a resolution last year in reference to the LISO program, which is that Department of Defense surplus property, where we get demilitarized or decommissioned military property. Everything that's in the green are things we've been approved for, the things in white are things that are pending, and the things in red are things that were either denied because there was a higher priority, meaning they farm it out to federal agencies first. If no one takes it at that level, it goes to state level agencies. And then if state level agencies, don't take it, then it comes down to the police department, and then we're able to put in for those items. So some of the stuff in red is either things that went at a higher priority project, and so it didn't make it down to our level. Or things that we just decided we could not go get. I wanna give Major Larson a shout out. He just went and got 4 generator, I think they're light towers. I'm trying to remember the wattage. I think they're like 4,000 watt generator light towers that we can use for like emergency management purposes. We can use them for outdoor events after dark. If communities have like long-standing power outages like what we saw in Normandy Place and Glen Echo Park, we can station those outside, and they each come with their own generator. He drove all the way to Washington State with Sergeant Gary and picked them up. They picked all 4 up, and then they towed them back. It was a 30-hour trip each way. So I want to give them a shout out for going and doing that, because while the equipment is free and we only choose things that are in grade A condition, we don't take things that are not serviceable. We only take the stuff that's serviceable. This was something that he thought would be beneficial for the city and for our emergency management purposes. He was able to secure several small generators like the one the fire department allowed us to use for Jazz Festival last year when the power was blown, and we can use them for events like Trunk or Treat. He also got another trailer drawn generator. And on the list of things in white, you guys will see there's actually a 30,000 or 40,000 kilowatt generator that's in California. And when I asked, was it powerful enough to power this building, because we know that emergency management is an issue, and then having power outages at this building and our facility is an issue, Lieutenant Walls said that's enough to power this side of Natural Bridge. The question is, how do we get those things here? So some of the bigger items, we're gonna, Shaguna's been talking to us about whether, like, weighing the juice is worth the squeeze. If it's something that the city absolutely needs, is it worth it for us to have it shipped? And spend a few $1,000s to have a whole building generator shipped. So those are some conversations we're gonna be having soon, in reference to some of the property that we've acquired. But we have acquired a ton of property. At the next meeting, you guys will see the LISO resolution come back up again. We have to renew it annually every year, stating that the council is in support of the LISO program and in support of the police department going and being able to participate in these types of programs that bring so many resourceful items to our city. And we're hoping that the resolution will pass without issue. We're also hoping you guys will reconsider allowing us to have our armored vehicle for safety purposes. We've gotten quite a few things, and I promise it'll be beautiful when it's done. But the total value, if you look at the very bottom of assets that we've been awarded from the Department of Defense, $395,906.11. And then there's a pending value of an additional $344,000 worth of equipment. So it's more than $500,000 worth of assets that we've acquired by the time this is all done from the Department of Defense, and things that would absolutely put Normandy in a better position to be situated in the event that we have a crisis or something happens. If anybody wants to know what any of the property in green is, I don't mind speaking to you after the meeting and kind of running through the list and telling you guys a lot of the good things that we've acquired and some of the things that are pending. We actually, I know there was talk about a water tank. The water tank keeps coming up and everyone thinks we had a water tank, and it's been gone for a decade. They had a potable water tank where for some reason water contamination was an issue. We could have I think it was like a 5,000 gallon potable water tank, but it was in California, so we let it go because we just got back from Washington. However, in the future, there are things like that that come up, and what we've done is we've gotten like the little side-by-side. We have one pending, like the UTV that we use to drive people around. We have a couple of those pending to give to Public Works. Vehicles and weapons are things that we have to keep forever. If we no longer want those things, we have to let the Department of Defense know that we're going to surrender those things, and then we have to surrender them to another agency. We can't sell them. But outside of vehicles and weapons and like defense logistics things, everything that we acquire, the city can hold, and after a year, we're able to sell if we desire. So, I mean, there's always that option there with property, and we never have to feel laden down or burdened by anything, and the option to sell a lot of these things is there. And then the last thing, two things, Trunk or Treat, I can't impress upon it enough. Everyone on the council has pretty much talked about Trunk or Treat. It's a great time. For those that don't know, this is actually our 3rd year doing the Trunk or Treat. Usually this event brings in between 500 to 1,000 kids from from all over St. Louis County. We provide a safe space for children to be able to come, enjoy the festivities, and kind of pull them out of the neighborhoods and draw them into a more centralized location that's more controlled, and they have a great time. There's going to be a pop-up movie theater. We'll be showing a scary movie. We're giving away popcorn, cotton candy. Like the mayor stated, we went and we bought the candy from the same vendor that we always buy it from, and the $4,000 just didn't go as far this year. Last year, we drove away with 3 police cars full of candy. This year, we drove away with 1 for the same amount. So we're on a crunch right now collecting candy. We're accepting charitable donations. We've already got a tax letter for anyone that donates anything to our trunk or treat, be it candy. We'll give you the donation letter with the value for your tax purposes, or people that write checks can feel free to make checks payable to the city of Normandy. And then in the memo line, you can feel free to write trunk or treat on there. We will be accepting volunteers for the trunk or treat for trunks all the way up into the 24th, which is a Friday. You can go online on Normandy's website and on we have a more updated flyer than the one that is up there. I think someone copied the wrong one. There's a barcode on it. You can scan the barcode with your phone. It takes you straight to the site, and you can go out and you can volunteer yourself. We only ask that you decorate your trunk. If you want to decorate yourself, it's all in good fun. Feel free to put on a costume. Several of your friendly neighborhood officers will be wearing costumes that night for the kids, including myself. It's going to be a good time. We ask all volunteers to be on the property and have their trunks decorated no later than 5:30 because we do open the lot and start allowing the kids on promptly at 6 p.m. and it is over promptly at 8 p.m. So volunteers will be allowed to pull off that lot no later than 8:15. We tend to get everybody out of there because it's dark and people just want to go home, and we get that. But again, we need volunteers, people that would be willing to come and maybe work our popcorn or cotton candy station, handing out popcorn or cotton candy if they don't want to do a trunk. We have some employees that are going to do the free face painting again this year. If art is your craft, I'll take your skills. Come on. So whatever your God-given gift is, bring it on down to trunk or treat. There'll be tons of kids that could benefit from the skills and your presence and what you have to offer. And then the last thing I wanted to say, and thank you again, Shagun, for giving me some of your time. I want to introduce Leonard Watson. You want to stand up for me real quick? And Antoine Young, these young people. They're both juniors at the Normandy Senior High School, and they are part of the Project Lab program that you guys approved via resolution and that signed MOU that we have with the school. They're here observing government process, and so I think that it's exciting to have them here in the building and for the youth of tomorrow to see what we're doing today. So I just wanted to welcome them and let everybody know because they kind of slipped in undetected, and I didn't want them to be Thank you so much, guys. So feel free to stop and chat with them after the meeting. They might have some questions for you. They're here to observe what you guys are doing because, again, you know, the kids are the tomorrow. They're our future. So we set the example for them, and that's all I do.
Thank you. And thank you. Welcome to our youth council members. We appreciate you coming, so this is exciting. We have, oh wait, city treasurer, sorry. Mr. Ellis.
Good evening to mayor, council persons, staff, residents, and guests. Yeah, my name is Charles Ellis. Served as the city treasurer for the city of Normandy. Come to give a report based on the report that was prepared by the city clerk. And without further ado, I'll go ahead and proceed with the narrative that I prepared for the month of August. And keep in mind that August makes 11 of 12 months total for the fiscal year. So part 1, section A, summary of the income statement. For the month of August, city recorded a net increase of $63,000. That was for revenues of $326,000 compared to expenditures of $263,000. Due to those results, the city realized an overall net deficit for the fiscal year to date of $230,000. That was for revenues of $3.646 million compared to expenditures of $3.876 million. Next, there's Part 1, Section B, the summary of the general fund balance. Directly from the report, the general fund unrestricted cash balance as of August 31st is $953,000. The Village of Glen Echo Park project balance is $74,000. Amounts due to general fund from other funds, $203,000. Amounts due from general fund to other funds is $12,000. Thus the total for unrestricted general fund balance, $1,217,000. Also, Drug Task Force restricted balance is $103,000, and the restricted amount at Simmons Bank is $633,000. Therefore, the total restricted amount in the general fund comes to $736,000. Next, there's Part 1, Section C, income for the general fund. Ideally, the percentage of budget remaining for income at fiscal year to date should be at or below 8.3%, which would indicate that the amount of actual income was either the same or more than the budget amount of income. Unfortunately, the city fell short of the budget amount for income by less than $333,000, or 7.7% of the total budget amount. Part 1, Section D, expenditures by department for the general fund. Conversely, the percentage of budget remained for expenditures at fiscal year end to date should be at should be at or above 8.3%, which would indicate that the amount of actual expenditures was either the same or less than the budget amount of expenditures. Fortunately, the city did spend less than it had budgeted for year to date by almost $103,000, or 2.4% of the total budget amount. And I have this in bold for those that don't see it. However, it must be noted that the fiscal year budget is not balanced with an excess of over $230,000 more in expenditures than revenues at the current time. When it came to individual departments, some fared better in keeping expenses under budget while others did not. Those that were under budget were the police and the park department. Those that were over budget, administration, court, prosecuting attorney, and public works. That is the conclusion of my report. And I'll take any questions that I can.
Any questions? The other funding sources, financing sources, sorry, on, C. The other sources are we waiting for that, for income?
For when it's about,
Other financing sources uses.
wait, so you're not talking about capital improvement or the parks or the economic development?
No, it just says other financing sources, but Kiana's not here, so I can't ask her. I was wondering about that.
we just usually just borrow the money from those funds, that's where they're coming from. So it's not any other type of funding. I mean, are you talking about the 86,000?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the total of the others.
yeah,
Yes.
I understand that,
Yeah.
yeah. But I'm saying, what does it entail? That's what I'm asking.
From capital improvement, parks and the others,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Capital improvement.
Because these are transfers, where you know, from those funds into general, for the general fund, so that we're using it in particular for shortfalls.
Any other questions? Can I get a motion to approve the, treasurer report?
Motion.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you, Mr. Ellis.
Thank you. Look forward to Mr. Dame's presence on the council, as he is a attorney brother of mine. And then I also want to let Chief Sanders know I'll be making a donation to Trunk or Treat.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
We have no old business, new business. So most of these resolutions are for, items that we approved for the budget, last meeting. So, Council Bill number 25-17, an ordinance of the City of Normandy amending Title 3 Traffic Code Schedule 4, Table 4B, no parking at any time, to amend existing parking regulations on Nokomis Drive. So this was an issue that we were having with parking on Nokomis, and Chief went out and looked at the street and came back with some recommendations. And if you look on the list, there were some that were there and then some that Nokomis has been added.
There are actually existing restrictions on Nokomis. The proposed addition is on page 2 of the ordinance in red.
Turn the page over.
Oh, I got it, but mine isn't colored because I printed it.
No, well,
Yeah.
it's underlined as well.
Yeah, okay. Jeez, should have laid my tabs.
You get one?
Yeah. You can take. Yeah, it's in this. I got it, but mine is a color. This is the one I printed off from home. And you got, yeah, and I gave mine away. The one that she printed. Can I get a motion to accept the first reading?
Motion.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Any questions about the ordinance at all?
So that's the recommendation? 50 feet?
Both sides from Springdale to a point 50 feet north side from Springdale Drive to the cul-de-sac.
Currently, the restriction that is in place in the code is a restriction on parking on both sides of Springdale Drive from a point 50 feet north of its intersection with, what is the road right there? Is it Springdale? Look,
Nicole.
Bermuda.
right, Nokomis is in Springdale, that's what I thought, I should remember. So that's what's currently in place, and that's because that's, parking right there where Springdale curves would, cause difficulties. In order to alleviate the other parking issues and access to driveways and things like that, the proposal would be on the south side, that 50-foot parking restriction at the curb would remain, but then on the north side, parking would be restricted all the way to the cul-de-sac at the end of Nokomis. So it's beyond just the 50-foot.
So there's no parking on the north side.
Correct. That's the proposal.
That's what you want, that's what you were.
And we can discuss this further at the
workshop.
At the workshop.
Yeah.
But that's what we have so far. Any other questions? Yeah, everything else is the same. So all in favor for the first reading?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. So this will also be on our workshop. So any changes or anything?
But also just wanted to mention that, from what I understand, we're not still having the same issue with the person, the initial person who caused us to decide to do this. Like, they're not having, those neighbors are not having the same issue anymore, right? Is what I was.
She's not said anything,
Yeah.
and when I drove down there, I didn't see anything, so hopefully it's better.
I took care of that.
I thought so.
So you put some meat on the bone.
You sent that in.
Yeah. Number 2, resolution of the city of Normandy approving and authorizing the purchase agreement with Bomarito Ford and authorizing city officials to execute same on our behalf. So this is the truck that we approved. Marty, do you want to talk about the truck?
It's a F-350 pickup, it's gonna have a Salter in the back, plow in the front. If we wanna discuss the snow program now, you wanna do it later?
Yeah, now.
Okay, so the reason we need this truck is we have the 2 Salters that go in the back of pickup trucks. The plan for snow is that we have the one dump truck that we have, the bigger dump truck, that will be responsible for Ward 1. One of the other pickup trucks that we currently have already will be responsible for Ward 2. So there will be a truck in each ward. The new truck will be responsible for Wards 3 and 4. And so therefore, you will have 3 trucks operating all the time, and you'll have more snow program than you've had here in a while.
And
So,
why we are not using the current truck that you have, the reason why we have to buy a new truck.
and so the truck that you bought last year was purchased without a plow and without a trailer hitch, because the person driving it didn't want to plow snow, so he made it a point to not do that. We're not doing that anymore. We buy the right tool for the right job for everything we need, and that's what this truck does.
So what you do with the old truck?
Say it again?
What'd you do with the old truck? You still using it?
There isn't, well, we have the old silver truck, that's to be auctioned off, that will go away.
No, but the truck that you're driving, right?
Yeah, it's a brand new truck.
Yeah, we're gonna keep it.
It's just there for, getting me around right now.
Yeah.
But that's not a truck I would have purchased, that's just the way that goes.
Because you could have used it for both purposes, right?
Right.
You could have been use it during the plowing,
And to
you
get
know,
around.
and you have to drive around, exactly. But this truck he currently has, you only can drive around, but you cannot plow.
Making that flower.
Yeah, so,
Any other questions?
No.
Can I get a motion to approve resolution 25-45?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, sorry, I didn't second. Did I get a second?
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Ayes have it. Number 3, also Marty, this is for the concrete walls for our salt dome. Resolution number 25-46, a resolution of the city of Normandy approving a purchase agreement for the construction concrete walls and floor for a new salt dome and authorizing the city officials to execute same on behalf of the city.
So the reason you have that separate from the actual salt dome is because we had an impossible task of trying to find contractors to provide either one of those, the concrete or the salt dome. So the salt dome that's coming is the one that looks just like the MoDOT salt domes that are out at their facility, only it's smaller, so we don't need one that big. They do not do their own concrete, because they're coming from Kansas. They would have hired a contractor here, so I decided to hire a contractor because I'm sure we saved ourselves some money without them marking that up. And we got a better product compared to what they were going to build. So that's why we have the one contractor for the concrete that you see, and then your next resolution will be for the actual dome that goes on the top of it. Because the only other price we got for a salt dome was they were gonna bring it and we had to build it ourselves, which was clearly outside of anybody's capability. So, these are both sole source contractors for the work that we need to get the salt dome built, which by the way, DNR is waiting on a response on when our dome is done, because they're very interested in us getting our salt problem under control. So, that's why we're doing it.
Right, thank you. Can I get a, motion? Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Ayes have it. Number 5, resolution number 25-48, a resolution of the city of Normandy approving a cost, oh, that's it. I thought I checked. Oh, thanks. Reverse. Number 4, resolution 25-47, a resolution of the city of Normandy approving the purchase of the construction of the salt dome and authorizing city officials to execute same on behalf of the city. Salt dome, the top.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the top. It's gonna come in on the semi, they're gonna show up and have it built. Because it's taken so long to get this approved, we hope it's here by New Year's Day.
Hope it don't snow before then.
And if they have some tweak in their system that that somebody cancels and they get here sooner, they will, but there's no guarantees at this point. It takes 6 weeks to build it.
6 weeks?
6 weeks for them to produce it, and then to get it here to put it up, for them to manufacture.
So let me ask, you're gonna do the concrete first and then
Correct.
put the stain on top?
Correct. Concrete gets full strength after 28 days, so for it to sit for 30 days is not a problem.
Any more questions? About the actual number part? Can I get a motion?
Make a motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. No? Okay. Resolution number
Mayor,
20.
1 second, can we go back to the resolution 2546 for the construction of
Yeah.
concrete walls? So actually, there were two bids that were obtained, and so the council does need to select who they believe the best bidder would
I
be.
thought we,
Well,
Well-
we did, but you guys.
But
Oh,
the
okay.
council, ultimately, that choice, lies with the council.
So you're making a recommendation for.
which one was it?
Spencer.
Spencer, okay.
Spencer,
Can I get
Spencer, the bid is 47,000. VJ, the bid is 70,000. So,
Can I get a motion to,
Save a little.
Who's Greenfield?
That's the people doing the dome on
that's
the
the
top.
dome.
That's the dome.
Greenfield is the dome. Spencer and VJ both submitted bids
Okay.
for the construction of the concrete, and staff is recommending that the city choose Spencer based on the
hold on,
cost.
I gotta find the actual. That's-
So if you could just, I would just,
That's the dome.
if you've already approved the resolution, I think just a motion to approve the agreement with Spencer would be sufficient, and then we can fill in the blanks.
So I can make a motion.
Can I get a
To
motion
approve,
to
Spencer.
approve Spencer Contracting Company for the amount of $47,000 for the salt dome walls and floor?
I make a motion to approve Spencer Contracting for $47,000.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Ayes have it.
Yep. Very good.
You good, Andy?
Yep, perfect, thank you.
Wait, now you threw me off. Which one, man?
48.
48?
Yeah.
Resolution number 25-48, a resolution of the city of Normandy approving a cost share agreement with Missouri Department of Conservation and authorizing city officials to execute same on behalf. So this is our $25,000 on our line item for,
Beyond dollars.
beyond housing, because we don't cut down trees. Can you give a little bit of synopsis on that, Nuss?
So they obviously hire contractors, they do all the work, they supervise them, they determine the costs and all that, and because they have a inventory of all of our trees in the city, and we've delineated the ones that we want them to take down. Contractors go out and bid on that work, submit it to Beyond Housing. Beyond Housing selects the contractor based on price, obviously. And so they have that money, which we supply in order to pay that work, but they handle the entire process as far as that goes and to deal with the contractors, scheduling and all of that, and that's why we set that money aside.
So let me be clear, this is the trim grant program through Beyond
It's,
Housing.
it's both. They'll trim branches, but they have to be delineated ahead of time, and they will take down complete trees.
No, it's
If
about,
they're in the city, if
Right.
they're in the right of way,
And the right of way.
or on city property.
Right, that inventory, the tree inventory through them was done a while ago.
It's updated regularly.
It's updated.
It's
You,
updated,
if you,
The one on St. Anne is coming down as part of that program, and that was just, specified in the last 30 to 60 days.
Right. So as we identify problems in our wards, then we should give them to you, and then you can see about adding them to the inventory.
Correct, assuming it's
I have
in
somebody-
public domain.
Well, within 8 feet of the,
Well, that's, depending on your roads, I haven't seen your easements for what your road is, it could be different, so I don't know that exactly.
aren't they standard easements?
Not when you have private roads that are built 50, 60 years ago. But I'd be more than happy to look at it if we can find a document that shows where the easements are at.
All of our documents are here.
so the tree inventory is something that's a living, breathing
Yeah.
website. So if you have any trees, like, Vicky said, you can send them to Marty. We did have a,
Well, we send them to Beyond Housing, they
Yeah.
go out and look
And
at
then
it,
they-
they track it.
and then they actually tag, like, if it's been cut, they tag, like, if the tree is healthy, they put all of that information into the website. So there's no guesswork, behind it and everything, so they keep a history of the tree. So if you have any trees in your neighborhood, or your neighbors have trees and everything, even if you're not sure if it's on an easement, we can send it over to them and put it on the list and everything. Any other questions? Can I get a motion to approve resolution number 25-48?
Motion.
Second,
Second?
all in favor?
Alright,
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Number 6, a resolution of the city of Normandy authorizing the amendment of contract with St. Louis County for dispatch services. Where did Chief go?
yeah.
Oh.
I can speak a little bit to it, but I think the chief can speak better to this. It's the current contract we have with St. Louis County on our dispatch. And we currently, the expiration date for that is, I think, the end of this month. And so we need to extend it for one more year. But I think also one of the issues, and the chief can also speak to this, is they had asked for an increase with the contract. And we were not in, we basically were trying to see if we can negotiate that number. So since we've not come to an agreement, that's why we're gonna have a temporary extension. And this is just for 1 year. Then after that, we can figure out whether we wanna go on a long-term contract with that number. Chief, can you help us with the contract with the county on dispatch?
Absolutely. Was there a question about something in
We
particular?
were given a synopsis of it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, fine, fine. So we met with the representative from St. Louis County. They have appointed a civilian to the position that used to be a police position. And during our meeting, we requested some information about our previous contract as opposed to our current contract, because we're up for renewal. And he explained that St. Louis County is no longer giving long-term contracts. The contract that we were we had been on since 2020, and it just expired this year, so it's a 5-year contract. Similar to how we do our policing contracts, where we do long-term contracts. He said that the county was increasing their rates to cover the cost of the new dispatching center and some of the equipment that they put in the dispatching center. We were a little bit disheartened when we heard that, because during the entire time that they were making the upgrades, I attend the SLAP, the St. Louis Area Police Chiefs Association meetings monthly. The police chiefs were asking who's paying for all these upgrades, and they kept saying that they had grants and they had different funding sources that were going to pay for it, but now it's time to pay for it. And they expressed that they're passing those costs along to the municipalities and to the people that utilize the St. Louis County dispatching service. So there's very few dispatching services that are still left. Ferguson recently took down their dispatching center, and went over to St. Louis County, and St. Louis County is actually at the point where they have the ability to add terminals, but they have so many municipal agencies that are trying to come on board with county because dispatching is a huge expense, that they don't have the ability to add new cities right now, but they do have the capability to do it. They just need operators and things like that. From what it sounded like to me, I think that they came thinking we were just going to nod our head and say, sure, we'll take it, but we're not town and country. We have to manage our budget and utilize fiscal soundness. So I asked the reasoning for the increase, and of course that was one of the reasons that was given. They said that they were going to implement a 5% increase, which is on top of the $90,000 that we previously paid. So that took us up to about $96,000. So the contract with St. Louis County went up by $6,000. I did challenge that because we were formerly, the $90,000 rate we paid previously included the cities of Pasadena Hills and the city of Greendale. And I had been working with his predecessor to get our bill reduced because we no longer have those populations included in our dispatching numbers. He told me that he would look into it, and then when I was insistent that we weren't paying this rate, he sent me the quote for next year, and the quote was $144,000. So it looks like the cost of dispatching is going up. Some of the reasons that he explained the dispatching services are going up is some things that county has decided to do with its police department. They've given out pay increases, and I didn't appreciate that. I told them when I want new guns and new cars, I have to look at my budget and determine if I can afford it, and if I can't afford it, I don't buy it. But it seems that the county has purchased a lot of things and done a lot of things they now can't pay for, and so they're subsidizing it through the municipalities. So I'm looking at challenging, right now we need a dispatching service, so I mean, I can't fight the number is the number, and that's what we were talking about when we had the budget workshop, when I brought up that cost was a little bit higher than it was in previous years, and that we're going to have to pay that rate for this first year. I did speak with Eric the other day in reference to this contract again, and I asked if we had made any headway or any progress with determining whether the city of Normandy, which I believe is entitled to any reimbursement for overpayments that were made for cities that we didn't provide service for. They can't collect a fee from us for contracting service for Greendale, when Pagedale patrols for Greendale now, and that contract's been gone since 2021. Same thing with Pasadena Hills. So there may be a period where they owe us some reimbursements, and they need to go back and they need to give us those reimbursements, or at least give us a credit towards our current bills for any amount that was overpaid, as well as adjust that 5% increase to reflect that 5% increase off what the true number would have been had we not been at $90,000. So I'm on that. I'm continuing to negotiate with them. I have some questions about the dispatching service, and I think that when the time comes for this contract to be renewed next year, I think we should probably be thinking about it and having some conversations with them long before we're stuck with no other option. I'm confused about why the county, I live in unincorporated St. Louis County, and I asked would I suffer a rate increase in unincorporated St. Louis County as an unincorporated resident? Are they also increasing the amount of dispatching service for unincorporated residents? And he said no. And I said, well, that doesn't make sense to me, because Normandy residents pay the same exact St. Louis County tax that St. Louis County taxpayers pay. And so if the St. Louis County taxpayers' dollars are enough, then why are the Normandy dollars? They're also, Normandy is actually double taxed. We pay a municipal tax on top of the county tax, and we pay that municipal tax for municipal services, which is why you don't have to answer your police calls. We do. Why are the unincorporated areas not seeing this same increase? They're all paying the same tax rate. So someone that lives, two people that live back to back, if you live in the unincorporated area and you live in the municipal area, it almost seems to me that the municipal people are now being triple taxed. And I had some questions about the rates that they were charging, because when our officers enter things into the computer, like putting themselves out on calls for service, if they're doing routine patrols in Bellry Bakers or in Pasadena Park, they log the patrols. We do that as a measure of security for the contract, so that the city can see that we're actually patrolling along with the GPS. And it gives us that raw data of how many patrols are being done and what self-initiated activity is being done. Calls for service are things that are dispatched by the dispatcher. Self-initiated is when the officer puts themselves out on it. He said that they've never charged for self-initiated calls, but the county is actually looking at starting to charge for self-initiated calls. And I said, well, that sounds absolutely ridiculous when my officers will be the ones doing the work. Your system would just generate the call, but the officers are actually, you're not paying a dispatcher to do that work. So there's a lot of questions that I have. The rate is increased. This amount is subject to change after his research to determine what, if any amount that we're owed, and whether that contract rate was changed after we lost those policing contracts, what reimbursement or credit the city is entitled to, and what that 5% increase looks like on what the true number should have been. That will continue. But right now, this is a resolution for us to even engage and keep dispatching services, which are critical because it's how we receive calls for service. So I'm not biting off my nose, or the city knows, despite our face, I'm going to go ahead and enter into the agreement with the understanding that they have some homework to do, and we've also got some research to do about the legitimacy, about whether or not, these rate increases are even just.
As you can see, she's a great negotiator, so letting her lead this negotiation, as we obviously want to go ahead and continue our services with the county, but really looking forward, and especially when we do have to review back the budget again, we have to start thinking about this increase and say, hey, realistically, where are we in the negotiations? Where are we in terms of our budget? Can we keep up with this? We will have alternatives, in terms of maybe looking at other people, but other, agencies. So these are things that I am looking at from my perspective. But like I said, that she's doing a thorough job in terms of negotiating with them and trying to get us that, maybe, like I said, discounts or even a reimbursement for previous years. So that would help us. But just these numbers are going up. Everything's becoming more expensive. So we have to kind of consider that.
Thank you, Chief. And thank you for negotiating for Norman.
I'm not done yet. You might see me on the news. I don't think it's just.
Look, we'll all be holding picket signs. Yep. Can I get a motion to approve resolution number 25-49?
Motion.
Second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Discussion about 2023-24 Community Development Block Grant Funds.
Yes. So I had a conversation with the county, the CDBG, Community Development Department, and they had mentioned to us that we would have to go back out to do a public hearing on the allocation for 2023 and 2024. That the initial projects that we wanted to do with those funds were not permissible. And I said, why? I said, you had previously approved this, and they said that they had just missed a few requirements that HUD had given them, which I put in your packet as a map, whereby the spending has to be happening within, especially if you're doing demolition, within that green zone. All right, it's based off of income, median income of that area. Now, you can't spend money in the white zone, but it has to be things like ADA compliance. You can't really do demolitions. So this restricts us on the fact that we were, the two homes in Glen Echo, Fourth Ward, which were the St. Andrews, were initially slotted to be torn down with those funds. That cannot happen. So now we have to allocate this fund somewhere else. Really what we're suggesting, as the staff is suggesting, is we use those funds to do some of the street improvements that we were already planning to do in the other wards, and then the fund that we have for those streets, we will bring it back to using for Glen Echo. Now, if you look in your packet, you also have a list of all those streets that we were supposed to be doing, and we are doing, which is right now, we're just waiting on the engineering to come back, which is in like about a week or two.
Next week, hopefully.
Yeah, next week, right. So, just swapping the funds, just to be able to, do the same work, but now not restricted anymore because CDBG funds are restricted. So just giving you a heads up. So what will now happen is by the next workshop, we will be doing a public hearing for what we want to use 2023 and 2024 for. That's going to be the next step.
So the public hearing will happen after the workshop?
Right before it.
Yeah, on
Yes,
that day.
that day, yes.
So, and at this point, we're suggesting that those dollars that we had thought we could spend to tear down those two houses will be going back to
Streets
streets. But we can't use them for streets on Henderson or St. Andrews because we're in this white zone.
Yes.
So switching out city funds for those
Yes.
and the $74,000 restricted money from Glen Echo, what's with that?
Which funds are you talking about?
I'm talking about $74,000 that was left over.
We're assuming we're still gonna need those for roads too, because we're assuming the road's gonna be more expensive.
Yeah, we're not spending that money, no.
Not on demo.
Correct.
Right. So where's the money gonna come for the demo of those dangerous homes if we go through it?
It's gonna come from, currently, we already have money for streets elsewhere, so we're gonna bring it down for demolition.
Sweet, okay,
Yes,
I
yeah,
got you.
yes.
All right.
And you have the list of the streets there.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, okay.
So that will be on our next, workshop.
Yes, so we would, by that time, we would have the name of the streets that this CDBG funds will be going towards. That's what's gonna happen by the public hearing by the next meeting.
Can we
And
get
I think it's
Rosedale
good
on
to-
that list?
Say it again?
Can we get Rosedale on that list?
Say we-
She's requesting Rosedale.
Rosedale, is that a-
Probably not at this point.
No?
The engineering hasn't been done for it, it would take weeks and set back the whole process, because those roads were delineated. They were the roads that got all the water lines torn up and stuff, that's the focus of what the road repair for this fall is. And that was determined 6 months ago, that that's what they were going to do.
Yeah, because the list I have, I gave you in your packet,
Yeah.
that's the one their engineering is already being worked on. So we will be done with that and we can go ahead and start working on it. If you have any other street that you wanna put on there, that's months away, you know, because you gotta do the engineering first, so.
Any other roads besides St. Andrews and Henderson, all those roads were the roads that got torn up by the water lines and stuff. There's no other roads being done other than that, with the possibility of St. Anne being done, assuming the budget allows. If not, it'll get kicked back to next year too.
So the roads that were torn up were, was that American Water or was that MSD?
American Water, well,
American Water.
yeah, American Water.
American Water.
Okay, so when they did it with us, we kind of insisted, because they were talking about only giving us a quarter of the street, and we said, no, you're gonna do half of the street, and we made, so, I don't know if you've looked at the percentages, but what they did with us is they came back with us with a figure that's saying, that the contractor for American Water came back with a price for us, that if we use the same contractor to fix up their stuff and to do ours at the same time, it would be a lower amount.
And it is one of the processes we're pursuing. The only difference with that process is that when we go in and do these streets, we're doing the entire streets,
Got it.
not just one side.
Right, yeah, because they gave us that option, and that's what the $74,000 is here. Because we were in a position that if we spent all that money, we wouldn't have anything left.
And you're aware that as of right now, the proposal is to do the other half of the street that didn't get
Yeah.
done, okay?
Yeah,
Just
yeah, I understand.
And this also kind of ties to the gentleman's question about, you know, tearing down those houses in St. Andrews. As you know, because we're no longer using CDBG funds, and also too, we do not own those properties, it is pretty difficult for us to even decide that we're gonna tear those down. So either way, I think you still have ample amount of time, you know, to decide on what you want to do with the property. But, you know, I think it's a question for the board really about, you know, how fast do we want, you know, you to start working on the property as opposed to you waiting for you to get that deed that you're asking for.
Let's stick to what's on the, because we're on CBDG, so just, if you guys can talk about that after.
Yeah, so no, that's kind of really why I brought that up, because taking away the CDBG funds now, it means that really we have a pause on those two houses, so you're fine.
And I think that the people who live over there need to understand, because they're constantly calling me about those two houses. So we do have orders to abate both of those, and that's already been through the court. So at least some opportunity to secure those properties still lies at the feet of Normandy, because it's still our people who can get hurt in them if something happens. The 7203,
We're on the CBDG, and I really want to stick to that. So if we're gonna talk about the homes, let's do that at a later date, and then you guys can talk about it with Mr. G. Is that all about CDBG funds?
That's it.
Parchester Park discussion, construction grant. Councilwoman, yes, Cleveland.
I just have a couple questions about the Portchester Park. Last year, we had this real big to-do about Portchester Park. It's getting ready to open up, and we had a company here that shows how it's gonna be beautified. And all of a sudden, things stopped. And then a $350,000 grant was, the ball dropped. What happened?
What happened to the grant?
What happened to applying for that $350,000 grant? What happened with that?
Well, the person that was doing the work on the grant missed the deadline.
I mean, I came after this happened, literally, I started, I think, a day or after this, I heard about this. My recommendation is that, you know, these grants are too important to be left to the committees.
I agree.
To do, these should be done by staff.
Yeah, so Gunn and I had a
agree.
conversation about this, and, last year, when the process started, and the year before, when Beckman was here, apparently, the person who volunteered to do it, like, had already volunteered to do it when I stepped in, and so, okay, can you do it? Yes. And one of the things that I found out is that that's not the best process. And so, Councilman Washington, is the park board liaison, and everything, and, I think the process, we need to talk about like how that process is gonna run, like going on. I envision, I talked to Sagana about this, from now on, if there is a grant, it is going to be the liaison, the person that can communicate about it, and a staff member that's going to be a part of it, and everything.
A staff member, normally?
So,
A paid staff member.
So-
So if it's a park, it would be the public works director
Okay.
and
So-
everything.
so
So
let-
following that process along.
let me understand what was going on. So you're saying that the Parks Board was writing the grant?
There was a member of the Parks Board who had volunteered.
But that never happened before.
Well, that was
When?
what they decided before I came.
No, you can't just,
Yeah,
you can't have
So,
Park
I'm
Board
like-
that was drawing grants?
yeah.
Well, that's
Come on,
what,
guys.
that's what Beckman.
No, that's not,
No.
it's never been done like that before. Yeah.
Okay, can I?
Do
So
they know how to
moving-
make grants?
Yeah, yeah, but moving
Okay,
forward,
let's move on.
what we're gonna do is, we're going to make sure that we have a staff member that is in charge of that. So that is
He's overseeing it.
Yeah, and I will say this, we were definitely like overseeing, and everything. There was never like
Yeah, I've actually written park grants before.
well, let me finish. There was never actually like a, I need help, like, I never saw an email like that said like, I need help or anything. So we really thought that the process was like moving along, like it should be, and unfortunately, the person went on vacation and they missed the
Okay,
deadline.
can I
So
have a
that's
word in there at all?
Yeah, so unfortunately, I'm just explaining what happened, so that's the process of what happened, so.
But there should have been a follow-up somewhere.
Yeah, but Park Board members don't write grants.
Yeah.
It's unheard of. It
So,
never should
yeah,
happen.
unfortunately, that's how.
So unfortunately, we still don't have a park. That's my whole thing about Ward 1, things like that. And I'm not,
Well, it shouldn't have happened, you know, and
I-
I agree
I
with
do
you, Karen, I see
understand
where,
that.
where you're
Yeah.
going, I'm just saying,
we still don't
it
have a
never should
park.
have happened.
Yeah, no, it shouldn't happen, it shouldn't have happened like that, and, you know, like, look, hindsight is 20/20.
Yeah, I mean,
I wrote a grant for the circle, and I was in contact with the city administrator at the time and the mayor at the time and saying like, I'm doing this and I'm doing that, and so I thought that was the same thing, the information that I was getting from the person and the information I was getting from Marty who left, everything's okay, and it did not turn out like that. But Councilwoman Vargas.
Okay, we worked with Southwest, the same company that pitched for Parkchester Park. Whenever worked with them to put together the application for the park grant. They walked me through step by step, and it's part of what we paid for when they did the design. So they know how to do it, They will do it, and it's not gonna cost you a heck of a lot more money to have them do it. Plus, they know everybody over there, cause they work on these park grants all the time. So, writing the grant it's a template. You fill out the information, it's not rocket science, and if you need help and you're still working with, SWT, isn't it? Then you can have them help you with it. It's not that hard, and these are annual cycles for these park grants. If you can't get one year, you can try for the next year. It's not like it's just going away. Well, I want to remind Normandy of a couple of things. They do pay attention to what you've done with the grant money that you've gotten before. When Normandy pulled out of the grant with Pasadena Park to do that, after it was already approved, these are human beings like you and me who are on this park grant, on the commission. They are just folks. And so they're gonna look at the history, and they're gonna ask questions about the history. These are also reimbursement grants. The city has to put up the front money, pay for it, whatever, provide a bill to the county, and the county will give you the money back. So when you're looking at $350,000, you're looking at having somebody to back you on that, or being able to have the money in your reserves that you can play with that money until you get it back from the county. You will get it back, but depending on how you do it, and what you negotiate with the park commission, you're tying up a whole bunch of money. And they will look at the performance of your other grants and how you did on maintaining whatever you had before.
So, yeah, we never backed out of the Pasadena.
That was before.
That was an agreement. It was within the last couple of
The
3
last,
years.
the last thing that happened with the Pasadena property is that I believe they wanted to, we were trying to figure out if we should basically like let them have it because that project basically like fell. It just kind of failed. We had meetings set up and it never came through. Like we would go and it would, nothing would come of it. So that would not be a ding on our armor, because I think the city did do its due diligence to try to see that through. So we still do partner and own that piece of land and everything.
That's not the issue. What I'm talking about is forming the relationships with people, the county folks, the people who are on the park commission are appointed regularly. And Steve Abel, not Steve, because Steve isn't there anymore. Steve Abels with the county actually helped us a lot with doing it. You can get the help from the park commission, from your design group, and putting together, because they're just looking for what exactly you want to do with the drawings and the cost associated with it and a timeline. And they don't give you a whole lot of time to spend the money once you get it. You really have to keep up on the project. So if you're looking at getting that money, you've got to be able to look at this budget and say, can we flex $350,000 for a year or so?
Yeah. So we went to SWT, just so everyone knows. Marty went, we had all the information, the numbers had to get redone, they did that. And it was literally a issue of uploading and hitting send, and that's what they died.
So can we apply for it next year?
We can apply next year, and next year, the staff will be done. We will not make that mistake again. And actually, for all grants, this will be done. This will be the staff doing it and everything. And clearly, if you find a grant and you want to work with the staff on it, yes, please. But as far as us being like the main person, that's not gonna, no.
Yeah, I mean, and previously when I worked on these park grants before, either way, even if you had the consultants do it, at the end of it all, even when they submit it, they have to send me a receipt as the city administrator. Or even if I had the director for Parks Department do the grant, he uses my email. So whenever he's completed it, he notifies me and I hit submit. At the end of it all, he should stop at my office as city administrator, knowing that it's been submitted and was submitted accurately. So that's how it's always been done. And I've had a great relationship with that board. So I've won so many grants with them before, so it's not a problem. It's pretty a routine thing, to be honest.
And Martin sat on that board, Marty, what's his name?
Cochran.
Corcoran. He sat on that board and he actually did call. I asked him to call and see if we could submit later, and the guy was like, no.
So you have the deadlines for that, for next year?
Yeah, I can get for their website, usually that's set up.
Yeah, it usually opens in like June or July, and they have 3 meetings, and then the submissions happen.
So we probably have to update the numbers from this year, correct? Because it might be a little bit more expensive next year.
Well, it's gonna be more expensive to get those numbers too, because ain't nobody doing nothing for free. So, you know, like, just like they had to rework the numbers, after we did the original numbers, they had to rework the numbers, they would have to rework the numbers again. So it's gonna be some kind of a upcharge.
But you also have to remember, you have a limit on how much you can get as a city. So
Yeah.
even if
Also.
you estimated more, and that the project is gonna cost you $500,000, and you're only getting 350 from the park grants, now it's coming out, the rest is coming out of your pocket, so you as a city have to now figure out,
How do you- And that plan was, if you remember, it was in phases.
Yeah.
It was, everything was happening in phases.
Well, I think, it's a phased one, and you're working on the assumption that you can get that money every year. And that might not happen.
Man,
Yep.
it's free.
Which is good.
My park grant was free. I don't have to do anything.
It's a baseball field.
Somebody else is paying for it.
Can I
Me and
ask-
Marty, we just sit back and let them do it.
So, I don't know if it's the park people or not, so all the debris and all the overgrowth in the park, is that the parks people who gets that cleaned out, or who does that? Because-
No, God, no.
So-
No.
So who does?
That would have to be, no, that would be a professional search.
No,
We
no,
have
no,
to
just
get,
asking, so
we
is
have to
that,
get that bridge fixed first.
is that part of the, is that part of the grant?
No, the bridge, we were trying to figure out if MSD would help us with the bridge, because we need the bridge fixed to get into the park
Access.
with
Okay.
the heavy equipment.
So the overgrowth, who's
Yeah.
that?
that's gonna
That's
be
from the
whoever we
contractor.
decide. The
And that's
contractor.
part of the MSD problem, isn't
That's
it?
probably part of
Because that creek runs by there and
First
wipes
phase.
it
That
out.
was about $40,000.
I mean, the question is, do we have the capacity to do that? No, we don't. Right now,
I guess you're
as a
right.
city, we don't. And that's the reason why we definitely have to lean on a grant or some kind of external help, right? So if we do get that, we can be able to either, hire a contractor, or get more manpower to do it, but just not at the moment, not. It's just not possible. But you do have to fix the bridge first, you can get access.
Correct.
Yes, so that was what the grant was supposed to be for. But
And then
Oh.
the
Yeah, that's
other
what the first
grant
phase.
possibility there is with, MSD and their large grant stormwater program that has been available for at least a year and a half now. I spoke to the previous city administrator about it, but we never have applied for any of that money.
yeah, I just received an email from them,
Yeah.
just actually this week, I think it was.
And so, one of the things
So-
that we probably need to look at is a citywide stormwater management program.
Yeah, we're limited to only 60,000 out of that, so you also have to consider all these things.
But
If I can make a suggestion that's probably gonna help that process, from what I've heard ever since I've been here, is that that's supposed to be a ward park. Cause we want a park in every ward.
Yes,
How
yes.
that park is designed is not a ward park. You're gonna have everybody there from the whole city, especially if you put that water feature in. And if that's not what you're thinking, it's gonna change the price of that park. It should bring it down substantially. If you don't want a park that's gonna be bigger than Holds Out and more popular. I'm just saying, it's something we need to think about when you get ready to redesign that again.
So how do you stop other municipalities, because it's a walkway that's connected to Ferguson? It's a public park.
Yeah, but we don't want to change
It's a
the
public park, I mean.
Yeah, we don't want to
Yeah,
change
you
the
can't.
Okay, we can talk about that another
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
We're kinda getting off
Yeah.
track here.
That's fine.
Any more questions about, Parkchester Park construction grant? Citizen comments? Any other citizen comments? Are we going to close session?
I don't have anything to talk
Okay,
about.
can I get a motion? Can I get a motion to?
So moved.
Second.
Second,
All in
third.
favor?
Let's go.
Anything I need to talk about?
Don't put that on me.
Eyes have it. Good night, everybody.
Good night.